All right. Thank you for the introduction, Kathy. Toastmasters, good morning. First off, just want to thank everyone for the opportunity to deliver my first Toastmaster speech, The Icebreaker. My name is Cole Phillips, and I will be introducing you to myself today. Picture this. I'm 12 years old. I'm laying flat on my back. There's rain drizzling down on me. There's teachers and students encircling my body. I look down at my body and I realize my right arm is in the shape of a Z, broken completely in half. I look at my left arm and I realize I can't even bend it at the elbow. Sirens are wailing. Next thing you know, paramedics arrive. They scoop me up, put me on a stretcher. They cart me off to the emergency room. Next thing you know, I'm getting x-rayed. I'm in the surgery room. I wake up hours later. I look down again and I realize I'm in 2 full arm casts, feeling completely helpless. Little did I know that this moment in my life was going to be an extremely pivotal time for me. It was going to send me on nearly a 15-year-long journey, giving me some of my most memorable experiences and ultimately landing me where I am today. I was born on April 15th, the day of the Battle of Machu Picchu, I think it was, 1994 in Springfield, Missouri. I had an incredibly loving and supportive mom and dad. I had a sister who was about 7 years older than me. I was really fortunate to have a mom and dad that I felt like were always exposing me to really thrilling experiences as a young kid. My dad was a professional race car builder, so he was building at the time some of the world's fastest drag cars. He had me in what was called a junior dragster at the age of 9, which is basically a modified race car for kids, and stepping into his full-size drag car in my early adulthood. Growing up, we also went to the lake a lot of weekends, and by the time I was 13, I had almost 200 scuba dives logged as an open water advanced scuba diver, diving some of the coolest boat wrecks throughout the lakes in the area where I grew up. What would come to be a pretty long and painful process for my entire family. My parents began their separation when I was 12, and with it bringing a moment in my life where I would begin to look for a next thrill that I would immerse myself in. I got my formal introduction into athletics in 7th grade, where I started playing football. I quickly realized that the excitement, the intensity, the challenge, and really the community that it brought me I was hooked on it. I picked up wrestling that winter. I started running track and field in the spring, and it was really track and field that I had like this special bond with that I couldn't quite place my thumb on, but I knew I just couldn't get enough of the sport. Specifically this event called pole vaulting. In 8th grade, on a rainy day at practice, I was at the back of the runway. I started my approach. I planted the pole. I'm in midair. I'm upside down, and I break the number 1 rule in pole vaulting, which is you never let go of the pole. I slip off the pole. I land head first in the box, which is the area where you plant the pole. And I find myself in the opening scene of this story. This is what would be a very pivotal moment in my life. I was deathly afraid to come back to the sport, but I was in love. I was literally in love with this sport. I had such a strong connection to it, and I knew I wanted to overcome that fear and the obstacle that it was to come back to it. Stepping into my high school career, I meet my pole vault coach, my new pole vault coach, Jerry Cousins. Jerry takes me under his wing, teaches me the technique, and soon has me jumping heights that I never even thought I was capable of. It's important to note that throughout my adolescence, really from like kindergarten all the way through like 12th grade, I was a bit of a troublemaker. And so one day, my junior year of high school, I'm hanging out with the wrong friend group, and I cut out of school early. I find myself getting arrested, and when I was supposed to be at track practice that day, I was unfortunately detained. It was this moment that I realized was going to be another pretty pivotal moment in my life looking back. When a time when all my coaches and teachers were stripping opportunity away from me, I had one man that stayed in my corner, Jerry Cousins, my pole vault coach. He gave me an outlet to put everything I had in into it and to make something good of myself when a time when, understandably so, people were stripping opportunities away from me. I put everything I had into it, and he helped me come back my senior year for a record-breaking senior year where I was able to secure a full-ride scholarship to the University of Central Missouri, where I went on to earn my bachelor's degree in economics. I became a 5-time NCAA All-American and was even nominated National Athlete of the Year. So ending my college career on a high note, I was right on the cusp of being able to make a U.S. team, and I wanted to see that out. And so I took my dream in one hand and a sales gig that I picked up in college in the other hand. I packed my bags. I moved out here to Phoenix, Arizona, and I put everything I had into it. For 2 years, I was working 14-hour days, training half the day, and working in my professional career the other half of the day. At the end of 2 years, I was completely exhausted, and I had these new emerging goals that were starting to take place. Goals like becoming financially secure, being able to support myself, being able to support my family and my future family in a way that I wasn't able to do at that time. I walked away from the sport, and I went on 45 interviews over the course of the next 2 months, and I secured my first high-level sales job with an organization selling software to companies. It was in this role, this new role, where I was in a new corporate arena, and I learned that really for me to become a top player in this environment, that I had to become an incredibly effective communicator. It was also looking back on that entire journey that I realized that some of my most memorable experiences came from the connections that I made along the way. So, so I realized it was time to make a life pivot, and I made that choice. And today I've joined Toastmasters to become more effective in my career, to be able to forge new relationships, to be able to strengthen existing ones with my family, my friends, my colleagues, future people that I've never even met. And I will end on this because I'm out of time. Sometimes you will see that breaking both your arms and ending up into full arm casts will set you on a wild and a beautiful journey. Thank you.